Coming up on Fulton Today, Fulton's elections team helps City of Atlanta leaders understand how to operate the state's new voting machines.
There's a new marshal in town. I'm Brian Robinson, and I'll introduce you to the county's newest marshal and show you how Fulton leaders helped the former marshal ride off into the sunset.
And Sheriff Ted Jackson and his deputies deliver some holiday cheer to the community they serve. That and much more starts right now on Fulton Today. Welcome to Fulton Today. I'm Dante Carter in for Shania Chavis. A new leader has been named for Fulton County Marshal's Department. After serving in Fulton County for over 30 years, Marshal Antonio Johnson is retiring. So who have the judges named to this law enforcement division? FGTV's Brian Robinson joins us now with the answer.
Fulton County State Court judges wasted no time in making the appointment for the new marshal. And just like the outgoing department head, the new leader has decades of experience.
It's Marshal Antonio Johnson Appreciation Day in Fulton County. Let's give him a big round.
Marshal Johnson's real and law enforcement family filled the Assembly Hall floor to hear his final public goodbye. After 3 decades of law enforcement service to Fulton County, Marshal Antonio Johnson has seen it all.
I would be remiss not to say thank you to my state court judges who appointed me 3 terms as a Fulton County Marshal, the Magistrate Court and Superior Court, who I had the honor to serve under and work with through some trials and tribulations, through the courthouse shooting and also the Alameen trials.
But the dark days don't outweigh what he says are the glory days. His career began in the sheriff's office prior to his appointment in March of 2007. In that time, he's maintained the Marshal Department's accreditation, established the Junior Deputy Program, and strengthened the relationship between youth and law enforcement.
Being with this county means a lot to me. I was born and raised in this county. I was born at Grady Memorial Hospital, and I lived in southwest Atlanta, grew up at Adamville Elementary and went to Harper High School, and it means a lot to me. Fulton County has been my bread and butter. It's a wonderful place to live, and it's a wonderful place to work.
Marshal Johnson's replacement is someone he knows well. Lieutenant Colonel Maria McKee is also a longtime employee with the sheriff's office. She says she's looking forward to the challenge of filling some big shoes.
And for me, that means that I will have to build on the progress that's already made in that department, as well as strive to move the department forward to keep up with the demands of law enforcement and the courts. One of my big goals is to increase the size of the Marshal's Department to better handle and manage the functions, the duties and requirements that come out of the courts. Also, in addition to that, I would like to work on salary increases for staff and provide additional law enforcement support to other local agencies as needed.
With the old and the new marshal traveling down similar career paths, there's no reason to think those goals can't be achieved. Now, Marshal Antonio Johnson's final day is December 31st. Lieutenant Colonel McGee's first day is New Year's Day. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Brian Robinson.
Thank you, Brian. As one familiar face leaves the sheriff's office, several more are ready to make a name for themselves. 9 new cadets were welcomed into the sheriff's office after completing the basic law enforcement certification training course. The 3-month training class took place at the county's Public Safety Training Center.
It's something I always wanted to do. It came 30 years later, but I'm here, and I'm a testimony to it. You can do anything that you like.
The new recruits learned about criminal justice procedures, firearms training, and emergency vehicle operations. Each graduate is affiliated with several agencies throughout Metro Atlanta, including the Fulton County Sheriff's Office.
Oh, it's the start of a new beginning for me. I'm part of the reserve unit, so this is really big for me to do this.
We're all very proud of them. We try to make this day very special for them, so it's something for them to remember throughout their law enforcement career.
This basic law enforcement certification graduation is the last one for the year. 6 more training classes are scheduled to take place in the new year. A longtime Fulton police officer is now the department's number 2 man. William Wade Yates is now the department's Deputy Chief and Administration Commander. In his new role, Deputy Chief Yates will participate in the command decisions of the department and report directly to the chief.
A lot of the new responsibilities are budgeting and things that I have not had a whole lot of previous experience with, so it's very new. As far as goals, I just want to support the Chief of Police the best way that I can and support the county. We do have a lot of new initiatives in the police department, probably the biggest being countywide security for all the facilities, and that's been a huge undertaking and is a 3-year rollout, and I look forward to getting to the 3rd year of that and making sure that all the buildings are safe for all of our employees and citizens.
Deputy Chief Yates has been with Fulton County Police for over 26 years and has worked in every area of the department, including 10 years as the Special Operations Commander. In 2016, he traveled to Israel with the Georgia International Law Enforcement Exchange. He earned his Bachelor of Science degree from Georgia State University in 1995. Fulton's voter education and outreach team receives an invite to Atlanta City Hall to demonstrate the state's new voting machines. Since those new machines will play a major role in next year's presidential election, members of City Council were interested in learning how they operate. FGTV's Daryl Carver has the story.
This is going to a secure box. Once it goes through, it's gone.
This demonstration inside Atlanta City Hall is one of several Fulton's voter education and outreach team will host to ensure that all voters are properly trained on the state's newest voting machines.
What's going on right now is we're trying to make sure everyone throughout the 535 miles, square mileage, I should say, Fulton County understand what it is to, what the machine looks like, how it's set up, and how to properly use it.
On this day, Atlanta City Councilman Michael Julian Bond and Municipal Clerk Forrest Webb III were among the first to take advantage of the opportunity to practice voting on the new equipment. Though their mock ballot was a multiple choice quiz about our state's history, the councilman says the practice is what everyone needs.
Most successful teams, the key to their success is practice, practice, practice. You want to go over the things that are going to work and they're going to make it easy. So if our citizens begin to familiarize themselves with the technology ahead of an election, when we get to early voting or election day, we can minimize some of the confusion and provide education for our citizens.
I think it's excellent outreach. This is something that Fulton County and Mr. Barron has worked very hard in actually having community involvement and community outreach and being hands-on and being proactive.
The new voting system is already debuted in a few counties around the state. Fulton County voters will use the new machine starting with the March presidential primary in 2020.
One of the biggest things this year is the fact that we're, I think, what I like to call a perfect marriage between practical usage and new technology. We have a paper ballot component that we're also combining with a digital component. I think people are really excited about that.
To learn more about voting machine demonstrations, you can call the Registration and Elections Office at 404-612-7020 or log on to fultonelections.com. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Daryl Carver.
Thanks, Daryl. Fulton's Clerk of Superior and Magistrate Court gives the public more options to finding a certified notary. Aspiring and current Fulton County notary publics receive free training from the clerk's office. The office and the Georgia Superior Court Clerks Cooperative Authority hosted multiple free classes inside the Government Center's Assembly Hall. Attendees learned how to spot notary fraud and the new laws and statutes in place for notaries to abide by. The class was also taught how to protect themselves and the people they serve.
Well, first and foremost, it's important to know that notaries are officers of trust. The main duty of a notary is to help prevent fraud. So that's really what we're trying to hammer home today, as well as letting some of the notaries know what needs to be done to help them carry out that primary duty.
A notary public is appointed by state government to serve the public as an impartial witness during the signing of important documents. The clerk's office says they receive multiple notary complaints on a daily basis. Coming up in our district-by-district coverage, hear what Fulton commissioners have to say about the 2020 proposed budget next. Fulton commissioners weigh in on the 2020 proposed budget and get a visit from an international ambassador. Here's this week's district-by-district coverage. We begin with a meeting between Fulton commissioners and the third secretary of the Embassy of Cuba in Washington, D.C. Yanette Pumarega Perez visited the Fulton County Government Center. The purpose of her visit was to discuss the potentialities of improving relations with the Fulton County government and Cuba. She was seeking to find mutually beneficial opportunities of cooperation in areas like health, education, agriculture, and trade.
For us, it's quite important. You should take into account that we are very close, and we have, many values and many, researchers and many areas to share, with Cuban. And I'm confident that there is interest here in Atlanta and in Fulton County as well.
When you're looking to do business with foreign countries in particular, more often than not, it's based upon relationships. So for many, many years now, I've been traveling to Cuba, meeting with officials there, getting to know them on a one-on-one basis, not getting involved in their politics, but with the thought that at some point in the future, when things normalize, and they will, that we in Georgia, Atlanta, Fulton County, and the state of Georgia will be in a position to take advantage of that.
The third secretary also took meetings with various state elected and appointed officials, hoping to also improve governmental relations with her country. Fulton commissioners also got a chance to preview the proposed 2020 budget. Fulton's finance team laid out the spending plan during the board's December regular meeting. As presented, Fulton County's proposed appropriated budget is $1.2 billion, including approximately $758 million in funding for the general fund.
We have, as I said, provided you this complete list of funded and non-funded enhancement requests where you'll have a quick and easy reference to what's in and what's out at this point. And we hope, as you give us direction today, as well as in subsequent meetings, of course, that you will help us determine what should perhaps be added as well as what should be deleted.
Fulton commissioners had questions about funding for various programs and services.
This is not our Christmas list. These are the needs of the community. And again, in my opinion, the community request and the needs of the community comes first over operations.
I would like to request that we do take a second look at especially the collection rate, just to make sure that the 96% that we're basing everything on is accurate, based on what I'm sure the tax commissioner could tell us is realistic after the billings and everything have gone out.
Many of these things where there's a zero amount, I mean, you've gone through this, and I mean, you've weighed all this stuff out, you've listened to our priorities, and like Commissioner Arrington said, you've made sort of the value choices because that's what we ask you to do. And I think by and large, I mean, it's a well reflected.
The finance team says the proposed budget was prepared using approaches designed to encourage accountability and transparency, improve services, and maximize the return on investment of public funds. By state law, the county's budget must be passed by the end of January 2020. District 5 Commissioner Marvin Arrington Jr., in partnership with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, is inviting residents to support the annual Dads, Daughters, and Dolls Plus Sons Drive. As in years past, this toy drive is for children of men incarcerated in the Fulton County Jail.
Any Fulton County inmate, we work with Sheriff Ted Jackson in his office to make sure that inmates can tell us who their children are, what their addresses are, and we make sure that we have toys for all of those children.
This is the final week that donations will be accepted at the Fulton County Government Center, the Old Hill Child, Adolescent, and Family Center, and the South Fulton Service Center from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Children will also receive handwritten letters from their fathers in addition to the gifts provided by donors. Now you can catch your commissioners at work all this week with a rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. Still to come on Fulton Today, Fulton Seniors learn the importance of taking care of their vision. Fulton's Board of Health team is still compiling data to determine just how many people were tested at their centers for HIV and AIDS on World AIDS Day. The county took the international campaign to church with the help of a number of local pastors. FGTV's Melissa Lewis has the story.
In a spirit-filled service at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, one of Fulton's newest partners made it clear. Residents in our region need to get informed about the serious HIV and AIDS epidemic. The sermon came on World AIDS Day.
Because a lot of times we just hear numbers and hear data and don't realize how relevant, how probing, and how real it is. I want you to know, those of you who are standing, we're standing in the gap with you, and we declare by the grace of God, not another member of your family is going to be impacted. New Birth, make some noise right there.
Pastor Bryant was among a number of local pastors who joined Fulton commissioners at a press conference announcing the partnership of our county government and religious leaders. And during the church service on World AIDS Day, Chairman Pitts made a personal plea.
We in Atlanta, Fulton County, our sister counties, DeKalb, Clayton, Cobb, and even Gwinnett, we are known around the world as the hotbed of HIV/AIDS, especially in the black community, and it is getting worse, not better.
Here are the facts. Metro Atlanta region has the 4th highest rate of new HIV diagnosis among metro areas in the U.S. Fulton County ranked 6th highest for new HIV diagnosis among all counties in the U.S. During the press conference, a number of pastors pledged to do what they could to help get people tested and, if needed, help get people treated. Commissioners say they are committed to help.
We need this right now. HIV is on the rise, but you can tell by the Fulton County Board of Commissioners' commitment to funding HIV and AIDS in the Fulton County budget that we are here to support and fund whatever needs to be done to eradicate HIV and AIDS.
We want to continue to set the example for this entire state and work to eradicate HIV and AIDS. 3 of those evils, the stigma, shame, we want to make sure that these things are not part of our community anymore.
Fulton's Board of Health offers testing and screening services for HIV and AIDS every weekday and also offers the PrEP medication to help prevent new cases. Fulton County leaders announced their mission to end new cases of HIV and AIDS by 2030, and now they are hoping with the message being preached at local churches, the mission will be possible. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Melissa Lewis.
Fulton Seniors unable to get in to see the eye doctor have one brought to them. The Atlanta Mobile Eye Care Company set up shop at the Helene S. Mills Senior Multi-Purpose Facility Center. Participants signed up in advance for the eye exams.
It's a great idea. It's something that I needed to get done, so I'm glad they came here, so I won't have to go someplace else and get it done.
According to ophthalmologists, most people with serious eye diseases, such as cataracts, glaucoma, and macular degeneration, are seniors.
The cost for the residents here today is generally billed through their insurance. So most likely there will be no copays or anything that the individual has to come out of pocket for. If they choose to purchase glasses, then that would be the only cost. But what we do is, once we've done the examination and we figure out what their prescription is, if there is a need for readers, we provide that at no cost to the patient.
Many seniors neglect their eye care and vision problems because they have low or fixed incomes or inadequate vision insurance. Fulton Senior Services Department is addressing that challenge by offering affordable and convenient options like this mobile eye care service. This holiday season, medical professionals are reminding people with diabetes to not overdo it. Doctors say this time of year they see a significant spike in the number of patients who come in for complications. Diabetes is a disease that occurs when your blood glucose, also called blood sugar, is too high. At a recent healthy cooking class, also at the Mill Center, dietitians reminded seniors of the sugar dangers and how to avoid them this season.
what are the myths, what are the facts, helping them know how to manage diabetes and know that it is something that they can manage on their own at home.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, of the 84 million people that have diabetes, 90% of them don't know they're at risk. Up next on Fulton Today, find out why this Marshal deputy is training for a marathon taking place in one of the coldest places on earth. A Fulton County Marshal deputy is heading to the South Pole of all places for a unique adventure. Early next year, Sergeant April Moore will run a marathon in Antarctica. The avid runner began the hobby in 2011 when she was challenged to participate in a 1.67-mile run by the now retired Marshal Major Ken Morton. Since then, she has run in 4 marathons and countless other races. To prepare for a marathon in Antarctica, Sergeant Moore says there's still lots of running involved, especially outdoors, to test her running gear. Naturally, our first question was, why Antarctica, when there are plenty of places on this continent with warmer climate?
Some people, they run, marathons and all the states, or, half marathons in all the states. So a friend of mine that's in the running community, she's like, hey, I run all these world majors. I want to run all 7 continents. So she put that out there. So it's like, okay, since I want to be a part of the 7 continent club too, Antarctica is a continent. So I had to get out there and, she put out the call. So I said, I might as well do it.
Sergeant Moore hopes her journey encourages others to get involved with running. If it's one of your New Year's resolutions, she says there's no excuse not to get involved if you truly want a healthy and active lifestyle. There are several running clubs in Metro Atlanta that support new runners. And the Sheriff's Office shows support to the community with their delivery of a warm meal. Sheriff Ted Jackson, deputies, and volunteer chaplains delivered holiday meal kits to more than 160 families in Fulton County. The food baskets contain food that was donated and collected by the Sheriff's Office. Most of the recipients were grandparents who are raising their grandchildren, along with other families needing assistance.
We feel good because the chaplain program is part of this, but our employees also give back. And the employees give with an open heart, knowing that we're helping others. We're showing that we have an image of caring. I mean, we have a job in law enforcement, but there are people that need help, and we try to help them.
I enjoy it, always good to give back to the community. This is my 10 years straight involved with it, and the Sheriff Jackson, the one who started it, and then we followed through.
This year marks the 10th anniversary of the Sheriff's Office delivering holiday meals to the community they serve. In 2009, only 35 food baskets were delivered. This year, there were 250. The food baskets have enough food in them for the entire holiday season. Before we go, our reminder that FGTV wants to connect with you online. Be sure to follow FGTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for up-to-date Fulton County news. You can watch a replay of this show and other FGTV programming anytime on our YouTube channel, so please subscribe. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Dante Carter in for Shania Chavis. Thank you so much for watching. You can join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.